So I went freezer shopping today in my freezer, and I found these corn chicken cutlets. They're vegan, and oh my gosh, they package these things without any plastic. They just put them in this box, and that's it. There's 4 of them in there. So needless to say, they've been in my freezer for a while, and they were dehydrated. They were dry, and so anyway, what did I do? Well, I stuck them in this broth along with some carrots, and I rehydrated them. I simmered them for maybe, well, until the carrots were done. So that was maybe 7-8 minutes. And they turned out great. So this is what I did with them. Now I'm sure you couldn't do this with dehydrated chicken breasts from your freezer, but I know they do make dehydrated beef and chicken. These prepper places do. So anyway, what I did with mine, and as you can see, they're nice and soft. They're not hard at all. So I put taco seasoning on these because I'm going to make my tacos from the peppers and onions that I made. If I can get this lid off with one hand. Oh, that's not easy. Well, anyway, I'll show them to you this way. So peppers and onions. So these bad boys are going to go with that. And I'm going to make some little fajitas out of those. And then this, 2 of them, I cut into little cubes. And I want to make a vegan pot pie with that. So I'm going to mix this with mixed vegetables. I'm going to take a little bit of this broth and some milk and maybe some, I have some vegan sour cream that I need to use up, or regular sour cream if I want to make it vegetarian. And then whatever is left over, I'm going to add some noodles to and make a chicken-like soup, because this is a really good flavor. So anyway, that's what I've been up to and what I'm making for my dinner. And I'll be back in a little bit, and I will show you how my fajitas turned out. Alright, well, I have these little, they're like little street tacos. They're flour tortillas, and I think I got these at Dollar Tree. If not, I got them at Walmart, but I'm pretty sure it was Dollar Tree. And you get, actually they're corn tortillas. You get 24 of them for $1. Can't beat that. So, and you can make enchilada casseroles with these. You can make fajitas. You can make tacos. You can make whatever you. So this is a great money stretcher. So anyway, what else do I have here? I'm going to cook up my fajitas. I still have more hummus. This is red pepper. This is left over still from Christmas, and it's still good. It's not moldy or anything. So I'm going to use that up. I have the beans the pink beans that I opened the other day. I'm going to use those along with the fajitas. And then I have some guacamole that I made this morning from an avocado that I had gotten at Aldi's for 50 cents. They have beautiful avocados, and that was, well, it was before Christmas. So that needed to be used up. So I'm going to put together my little street tacos, and I'll be back in a little bit. So guys, here's a little tip for you. If you're short on money and you need some seasoning, think about buying a couple of these seasoning packets. They're usually pretty cheap. And if you like Southwest flavoring and things like this, I have this packet of taco seasoning. And all I did once I got my my corn chicken cut up. I just put it in a baggie and shook it up, and I only used a little bit of this, and it seasoned it, and this is really good. So, and then you can save it for other meals because there's still a ton of stuff left in here. So think about, because spices are very expensive. You know, stock up on your spices at the Dollar Tree. A lot of supermarkets have generic spices or their own brands, because the McCormick and things like that, that's very expensive. So, but in a pinch, this works great. And let me show you here. This is really good. And look at all the food I have again, just from stuff that I had left over. Now this is the peppers that I had that were going bad. So I cut those up, cut up an onion that I had already cut and needed to be used up. I had beans that were open that I need to use, so I stuck beans in here. And then the corn chicken that I rehydrated from the freezer. And yeah, I mean, this is enough for probably 5 or 6 little tacos, the little mini ones, or maybe 3 or 4 bigger ones. But, you know, I mean, my food just keeps growing and growing, and I keep thinking I'm getting less food, and I'm actually ending up with more food. How'd that happen? So anyway, this here, what I'll do, I'm going to eat it tonight. And then I still have the broth that I made, that I talked about a few minutes ago. So, and I still have the bag that I did the chicken in, put the seasoning on. So I saved the bag, and I'm going to let this cool, and what I don't eat, I'm going to label and put in the freezer for another meal. So that's that. I've got my 2 corn tortillas that I'm going to heat up, and then I'm going to put my little tacos or fajitas together. So I'll be back in a minute. All right, here's another tip. I'm baking my little taco shells. So I'm waiting for this to cool off so I can store some in the fridge. But here's another tip if you're short on money and you need some spices. Now I get these at Aldi's every now and then, but I think you can get them a lot of different places. But I'll pick these up where you get 4 spices. Now these are garlic and Asian spices, garlic and Italian spices, garlic Tex-Mex, and garlic and French. So you get quite a bit of stuff in there, because this is a tall, and I think they run like $3 or $4, still way cheaper than buying spices individually. So, and I have a lot of these. I have several of them. This one is habanero grill, steakhouse seasoning, southern hickory, mixed grill. So there again, and this one is barbecue, charcoal barbecue, lemon pepper, barbecue Texas, and steak and chops. Well, I don't eat meat, but there's nothing that says you can't put this on some seitan or on tofu. That would be good. And if you do eat meat, it'd be perfect for that. So if you're short on money and you need spices, I think this is a great way to go, because you have already a bunch of spices mixed together to give you the flavor you want. So that's a good tip for you. And then here's another thing that I stock and I keep down in my pantry, and that's mild salsa, because I don't always have tomatoes, but this keeps for a long time. Even after you open it, it keeps for a long time. You can put it in soups. You can put it on avocado toast. And I like to get the mild, because not everybody likes the heat from the hotter ones. But I like the Tostitos brand myself because it's chunky. And I get the chunky style. So there's bits of peppers and tomatoes and onions in there. And I really like this, and I always keep this on hand. And since I don't always have tomatoes, this is a great thing to keep in your pantry. So what else do I have? Oh, keep your jars. Now this jar was from pickles or something, and after I opened my can of beans, that's what I keep my beans in the fridge. So having jars is a good thing. And sometimes I keep my spice jars. I don't keep all of them. But this is celery that I dried, and it's just the tops and the leaves that you normally throw away. So I'm going to put this through my bullet, and I'm going to make some celery salt out of this. So let's see, what other tips do I have for you? I'm just waiting for my taco shells so I can put my dinner together. So once again, I'll be back when I do that. All right, finally got this done. So I put my fajita mix in. I bake these little corn tortillas in the oven in my handy dandy muffin tin. So the first thing I'm going to do is put just a little bit of hummus on top. And I want to get that used up. And I might make some seitan out of the rest of this. I'm not sure yet. But hummus is great for making seitan and sauces and all kinds of things. And then I'm going to add a little bit of the chunky salsa, because why not? We have it. So put that on. And you guys, this is really good with the fajita seasoning or the taco seasoning, and just using a little bit instead of just following the directions and making, you know, the whole big thing with the water and everything. So this is the hummus I made this morning, and the top has gotten a little dark, but yeah, you just scrape that off. And you can eat that, there's nothing wrong with it, it's just oxidation. But I'm blue. I splashed myself. Oh, silly me. Anyway, I love guacamole, and I added a little bit of everything bagel to this guacamole this morning, and boy, was that good. So anyway, a little bit of guac on there, and some on this one, and this two of these are more than enough for me. But there's plenty left here in the pan. There's at least enough for 3 more of these little ones. So if you're a bigger eater, or you have a family, you know, that'll work too. So hang on, I need to get another spoon. So one of my subscribers told me to store my sour cream upside down and it would last longer. So I'm going to do that. Thank you very much for the tip. And then earlier today I was watching Wendy over at the Frugal Minimalist. You guys, you have to go over there and watch that video. She does a whole bunch of freezer storing, you know, storing your things in the freezer, and it was just really a good video. So my friend Wendy over at the Frugal Minimalist. Hi Wendy. I know she does watch my channel every now and then. So there we go. And then it needs a little lettuce. So I still have some romaine. This is from the haul that I did back the beginning of the month when I just bought the produce. So I still have one whole romaine left, and then after I cut it up, I wash it and cut it up. I store it in a mason jar, and it keeps for a few days that way. So a little lettuce, because you gotta have lettuce on your tacos. I like lettuce on everything. So, and you know, you can, if your lettuce is going bad, you can stick that in a freezer bag along with your scraps of veggies and stick it in a stock. So, that's it. There are my little tacos, and that wasn't much work. And I saved the faux chicken from getting thrown out because that stuff is expensive. And the rest of it I'm going to put in this baggie and mark it and store it in the freezer. So, let me see if I can eat this without making a big mess. Okay, I'm going in. It looks really good. That's the biggest problem with this. How do you eat it? I guess one bite at a time. All right, here we go. You guys, this is so good. And just from leftovers. And things that have been in the freezer like too long. So sometimes you can still save your food. And think about if you have meat that's been in the freezer too long. It may not be palatable to you anymore. But if you have dogs, as long as the meat's not spoiled, you can cook it up for them. Cook it up, make a broth for them with it. You can dehydrate it, make some jerky for them. So unless it's like way past the point of no return, you can still use up some of your food. So anyway, I'm going to enjoy my dinner here. And let me know if you have some tips. Leave me some tips below, and the rest of us, we need to all share how to save money, get some great tips from each other. And I think that's all I have for you today. All right, my friends, I love you guys. I wish you abundant blessings. And I'll see you next time.